As usual, we're going to be doing tips. I've just buffed them and put them on stands. And we'll just give all four of them a thin coat of base coat just to give them a nice smooth surface with the gel polish. I'm going to be honest, I mean, this is a video I really look forward to doing. So I'm really excited to see how this is just going to turn out. Okay, when that's done, we'll put it in the lamp. So I'm going to go in with a thin coat of gel polish on all the tips. And we're going to coat them twice. Just the first layer needs to be thin. So let's go through all four of the tips. You sometimes hear that people say that, oh, gel polish can't go old. It can go a little thick. This one is a little thick. There's two ways to fix that. You can either put it in like a cup of hot water or on a coffee heater or something like that, or there is something called gel polish thinner. Personally, I don't think that sounds like a particularly good idea. I'm going to be honest, when mine get to a certain age, if they've gone too goopy or gluey, I do usually throw them out. So I'll probably throw them out after doing this video. But as I said, I'll just use it now because it's the colour I've got and it matches fairly well, I suppose. Okay, let's get that in the lamp. After they're done, you've got to take them out and give them a wipe because you don't want the tacky layer on them. When you're going to do any kind of nail art or hand painting or whatever, it's super important that you buff them first. It'll make life so much easier because it will stop the paint from sort of slipping and going everywhere. It will give you a little bit more time to work. So I'm just going to do all four of them, and we're going to do two of them with the blood drip design and the other two with the actual Squid Game logo. So let's just finish that off. So I've taken a colour called Dragon Fruit. I'm just going to put a blob there. That's the gel polish too. On top of my mylar box, which I use as a palette. And I'm just going to go in with a dotting tool. And just, you do need a little blob. If you don't put enough on, you won't be able to pull it up. When you're happy with the blobs and positioning and you've got them all on, what you do is you go in with a liner brush. I find this easier to work with than a dotting tool to pull the blood up. I feel it often looks a little bit more realistic. I'll still put a little bit on my liner so it's just a little bit wet. And from the middle of the little ball at the end, I'll just pull it up towards the cuticle area, just really thinly. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, nobody will see that because that's just part of the design. And when you've done that, you can start just joining it at the top just by carefully applying the colour. I was a bit lucky because I sort of feel that this colour matches the guard's suit as well, that it has got like a fairly decent blood colour. And like I said, I mean, just decide how much or how little you want to do. This is optional. So when this one's done, I'm going to put it in the lamp before I move on to the next one. I just like to get them out of the way. That way they don't tip over or you smear anything. So let's put that in the lamp. Okay, same procedure as the first one. I'm just going to put them slightly differently positioned just to get a little bit of a different look. Same technique though, just pull through with the brush, pull up, and then just fill in how you like it at the top. Oh yeah, a little bit more, because otherwise if your brush is very dry it won't pull. It'll pull like sort of transparent lines, and you don't want that. You need it to look saturated with colour. So this is design that I am going for. It's a lot of lines and geometrical shapes. That can sometimes be a little bit daunting, and I usually just do a cheat sheet on a board, as you can see, where I've decided how I'm going to split the nails up and what colours to use where. It's easier just to have something by hand for reference. So I'm going to go in and start painting the white lines with gel paint first, just so that I can sort of match them up. And I look at the size, and I look at the length and the positioning, and I keep my eye on my little board just to sort of see how I'm doing. And you just do this with like light, gentle strokes. It's better to come in a second time and make the line thicker than necessarily do it thick in the first place, especially if you're not very great at nail art. But this design actually wasn't the hardest I've done, and I got a tip from a client once, and she said, with bigger designs, always break them down. Try to break the lines down before you do a full design, and it makes life so much easier. Yeah, I'm looking at my cheat sheet again. I couldn't quite remember. Do you know what? These are super handy to have. I definitely recommend you, unless you've got a great memory, that you have something that you can look at. As you can see, I've dotted it out so that I can align them. So I'm going to fully cure both of the tips with the white. I want that to be solid before I go in with another colour. I'm going to start doing the geometrical shapes. So I'm going to go back into the dragon fruit colour and just sort of follow them where they're supposed to be. Same thing again, just pull my brush through the colour before I go into it so it's nice and even, but you can't have too much on your brush when you're going to work with like small shapes like this. And the other one I just did a square. I took a little bit out of the video editing that because I managed to work out a frame. I'm still working on that, I'm really sorry, but that wasn't the hardest part. So anyway, right, okay, they are done almost. I just realised that I actually forgot there's another little line and a circle on that, so I just like to double check things before I before I finish off. It's annoying to have top coated it and then you're missing something. So that's on me. So what I'll do at the end, excuse me, I'll just sort of fill in the lines that I feel needs tweaking a little bit, and just double check that everything is how it's supposed to be. Like I said, I prefer to work in layers than doing just sort of one thick coat of something straight away. So yeah, time for top coat. I'm just using the Modelan's no wipe. I'm using shiny on this. I don't know if matte would have been better, but I really like the shiny one. I wanted it glossy. I think it goes better with the colours that I've got. So I'm going to top coat all of them, and when they're done we should be finished with the design. Like I said, this wasn't as hard as it may seem, so if you're new to nail art, I would definitely try it. As I said, all you just got to do is just have something to look at and take your time, and just keep flash curing in between so things don't smear or run everywhere. So this is the final result. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.